Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to take a look at the Mach 1 by USV. This is a mod that's been out for a couple months, but I do think that it's still very much so relevant because there's still not very many dual battery Squonkers out there, and this one is quite innovative with the bottle system. So let's go ahead and dive into it. This is your packaging. So inside you are going to have the Mach 1 mod. It's also going to come with this RDA. I think that they're calling it the Mach 2, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I saw on their website. And then you're also going to get a little micro USB charging cable, some coils for that RDA, a little multi-tool, and some spares. So right off the bat, let's take a look at this RDA first. It does have a USV logo right there. United Society of Vaping, I believe is what it stands for. An airflow pattern right here, and that is adjusted like so. It's got that whole step down situation going on. Comes with an 810 Ultim tip, and let's pull the cap off here. And there's what the airflow control looks like. So it's a pretty cool airflow design. I mean, I'm not gonna spend a ton of time with this RDA because honestly, I'm not crazy about the build deck, and I feel like the mod is really what's super innovative here. But I do like their step down airflow that they're doing here. Okay, so like right there, you have the middle slot open. Right there, you got the top and bottom slot open. So it's cool, and I do like the look of it. Their logo is quite nice as well. So here is the RDA, right? Pretty simple. We've seen other build decks like this. I feel like this build deck's a little dated at this point, but I know that some of the cloud chasers and folks like that out there do still like these types of build decks because it is such a wide span there, so you could put really, really monster chunky coils in there. Has flathead screws up top there, little squonk hole, pretty nice deep well. That is one nice thing about just having a dual post situation as opposed to a full block. And then there is the bottom of your RDA, comes pre-installed with that squonk pin, and also it has this nice little disc, which will keep you from scratching up your mod. So this mod's about 91 millimeters tall, 54 millimeters wide, and at its thickest point, which is right in the center, it's about 36 millimeters. So this is one of the only, there might be one or two others out there, squonk mods that can handle 30 millimeter RDAs. 30 millimeter RDAs aren't really my jam. I mean, it's a huge, massive chamber. And so, you know, it's just never really been my thing. I totally acknowledge that some people love them though. So if you are somebody that uses 30 millimeter RDAs, you could use it on this, which is a nice touch. Cool looking 510 M plate there as well. Gold plated pin. Says Mach 1 on that side. Obviously they're spelling the E as a 3, okay? But I believe everyone's just saying Mach 1. You got your fire button right there. Controls right there. Charge port right there. Says Mach 1 on both sides, okay? And then you have this back door right here that is held on by magnets. And this is plastic. This whole mod feels like a mixture of zinc alloy and plastic. It might be aluminum instead of zinc alloy, but there's definitely some metal in here, but also combined with plastic. It's not super duper heavy for a dual battery squonk mod, actually. I like the design right there. And that is your bottle. It's a firm press. We'll get into that here in a bit. Here is your battery compartment. Marked positive and negative. Door has a little bit of play, but it's better and stiffer than most out there, honestly. When you put your batteries in, closes up like so and clicks in place. Really nice battery door on this. Now, what's really cool about this is its squonk bottle. If you see right there, there's a little cutout right there, and you just take that, let me get a better grip, and push it down like so. Pull it out. And there is your bottle. You fill it up right there. I believe this holds 8 ml. So let's go ahead and fill her on up right now. Pretty big hole, so you're not gonna have a problem with most tips letting air release out as you're filling the bottle. I didn't fill it all the way. I filled it up to about right there because I wanna give that rod that sits down in some space because that's gonna displace liquid. So now let's go ahead and reinstall the bottle. It just fits over this rod and you got a little plug right there. And you push on up. Easy as that. Now let's go ahead and install our 18650s. Negative up on that side. Positive up on that side. Push it down. Okay, so here's your home screen. Now, one thing I have noticed, and I've had this happen in my other unit as well, is that sometimes one of these battery bars goes blank, like you see right there. I know that these are fully charged batteries. I just checked them. I also tried multiple different pairs in my other device, and it was still happening. Now, this may very well have already been fixed in a firmware update. I looked on their site. I didn't see it, but I could totally just have missed it. I know that this has been out a couple months, but it's worth mentioning that that does happen, even though I know that this battery over here is full. But keep in mind too, this is a sample version that came out with the very first batch. So if yours doesn't have this problem, that's probably why. So now on the home screen here, you got battery bars. Like I said, your wattage, your ohm load, your voltage, the ENS, which is a preheat. You got echo, I believe the N is normal, and then a sport mode. So basically, you know, soft, normal, hard. And then you got a puff counter down here. Now, if you press the left and right buttons at the same time, that changes that preheat. Now to get into the menu, 3 clicks. You got power, which we already were on, temp. Let's click on that. And then same way, left and right is how you change the metals. So right now I'm on nickel, titanium, stainless steel, back to nickel. I didn't figure out a way to adjust wattage or anything. I think it just basically has, you know, that smart wattage feature where it does wattage depending on the temperature you're at, okay? So let's go back into the menu. Bypass, update, let's go into settings. Right here you can reset a puff counter. You can also change your wallpaper. Okay. You got a bunch of different wallpapers on this. Just gonna go back to one of these blank ones, okay? Down here in lights, you can adjust your brightness. System is just where you shut the thing completely off, all right? Let's go back into power mode. And now when scrolling it, this goes all the way up to 240 watts. Then it round robins it to 1 watt. And anything under 100 watts, it does in 0.1 watt increments. Okay, and as you can see, when you change the wallpaper, it changes some of the design on the face of the display as well. So like right now, the puff counter's up here, all right? And you don't have the little wheel thing. So it's pretty customizable when it comes to the home screen. Now, if you want to lock this and not turn it completely off, 5 clicks. Now it's locked. And that locks all the buttons. You're not just locking these controls. So I didn't see any locking feature to just lock these bottom controls. Okay, so now you can see my battery bars are normal. Basically, what I do to fix that, what I've done to fix that is just open the battery door and close it, and it reboots, and then it fixes it. I still am not understanding it. For size comparisons here is the Mach 1 next to the Rage. The Rage is definitely shorter, but the Rage is a bit thicker at its widest point. Sorry, that 510's all juicy there. Okay, so there's what those two look like together. And here it is next to another double battery Squonk mod, the Basium. Again, it's taller, but the Basium is thicker. Okay, so let's go ahead, go up top, vape this, and talk about it a little more. Okay, so first off, a little update on that battery bar situation. After I filmed the up close, I did some more research. I did find an update from June, but I have a Mac, and then when I went to go try to do it and then extract it and all that stuff, I was having problems. Now with the mod you saw in the up close, I opened the door a couple times, took the batteries out, put them back in, and now it's working fine. So I haven't heard that that's a widespread issue with one battery bar not showing up or anything, but I just telling you what I got, and with my 2 models, I had that problem, and I had it with multiple different battery pairs. And then usually once you open the door, close it back up, it tends to work fine. So it wouldn't shock me if in that update it is fixed, but like I said, with my Mac, I was not able to update it. So I have the Hermetic RDA on top. I'm gonna bump it up to 55 watts here. I have it on that normal preheat mode. Okay, let's go ahead and vape it. All right, so let me give you my thoughts here. First off, with the RDA, it's just okay to me. Okay, I'm not crazy about it. It's not my style though. That's the thing. I know that there's other people out there that love this style, but for me, those posts are so far away for most coils that I'm gonna use, but it's not a bad addition, especially if you're someone that likes to build with super big, chunky coils, and that's just your jam. I do like the airflow configuration on this, and I think it's a really nice looking RDA. The mod though is really what excites me here, and that's what we're focusing on. There's not a lot of dual battery mods out there yet that are Squonkers, right? There's a few. The biggest ones that I know of is like the Rage. That's probably the most popular right now, and the Basium. Okay, now comparing this to both, with my hands, I have big hands. I feel like this one probably feels the best in the hand, okay, even though it is a little bit taller, but it's also a little bit thinner. But I do wish that it had a side fire button instead of this front button. So basically you're stuck thumb firing this. If you could fire it like that, but it's just not as comfortable. So it's really more so of a thumb fire. Now, as far as cons go, besides the battery situation, the battery bar situation that I dealt with, the board has a decent amount of features, but it's also bare bones in some areas. It doesn't do custom curves. It doesn't do some TCRs, things of that nature. But at the same time, these other dual battery Squonkers I just showed you, they don't do those things either. One thing though is that I did not figure out a way to adjust wattage in TC mode. So I'm gonna give that a con. Another kind of subjective con, depending on who you are, is that the bottle is a stiff press. It's one of the stiffer Squonk bottles out there that I have tried. It's a good and bad thing I've noticed with different RDAs. That stiffer press helps you be able to fine-tune the amount of juice that you're pushing into your RDA a little bit better than some of the really squishy bottles where, you know, it's a little more touchy. With this one, it goes slower, right? But it also helps, like with my Hermetic here, you can really fine-tune it. And you could start to see the liquid coming up and let go, and you're good to go. So I don't mind the bottle, but if you're someone that maybe you have arthritis or something like that, it might be too stiff for you. So keep that in mind. And one other subjective con for some people is the fact that it uses a proprietary bottle. That's part of the magic with this also, but if you're someone that does not like to have to be buying different bottles for different systems, you might not like this. But that also jumps us into the pros of it. I mean, the way that this bottle is put into this mod is innovative. I think it's cool. It's easy to take the bottle out for sure. You just push on down. It's easy to fill it. And it's a very, very smart idea having it shaped so it goes right in between the battery compartment. I like that. Now, it doesn't come with a second bottle, so we'll have to note that as a con as well. But they do sell bottles for around $8 on USV's site. I think the build quality is a big pro. I also think it's a very big pro that you can put 30 millimeter RDAs up here, because I think that that's one of the first dual battery Squonkers that can do that. I really like the look of it. Like I said, I like the ergonomics, but you know, it's a bigger mod. That's just nature of the beast when it comes to dual battery Squonk mods. It's also a big pro that bottle holds a good amount of liquid as well, holds 8 mLs of liquid. Now the whole kit with this RDA is $99.99. I really wish that they sold these separately. They sold the mod separately. I didn't see that on their site. It comes as a kit. So, you know, $100 for an RDA and a mod and the Squonk mod is a pretty decent deal, I think, for a dual battery Squonker, but would have loved to seen just the Squonk mod itself for maybe $80 or something like that. So, all in all, can I recommend this? Yes, if you're fine with the few cons I mentioned. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that with their production models, they're not, because this has been out for a couple months now, people aren't having problems with the battery bars now, but that is a problem that I had. But you got to be okay with the stiffer bottle. You got to be okay with it being a proprietary bottle. You got to be okay with the fact that you're also buying an RDA, whether you like it or not. And it's a bigger mod. So you got to be okay with that. But I mean, it's a strong contender when you put it up against the Rage and you put it up against the Basium. So if you like the look of it and you want a dual battery Squonker because you want to get that extra wattage, you want to get that extra battery life, and you're okay with the proprietary bottle system, then I would say go for it. I think it's a fantastic mod, and it's one that I can recommend. I do think it's very innovative. All right, so I think we'll end it there, guys. If you want to pick this up, you can get it from the USV website. It's also going to come in a few different colors as well. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching. Suck my mod.